Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you all for the one-day free webinar on the research paper writing and publishing organized by the Srinivasan College of Arts and Science MBA program in association with Pencil Bits. It's designed to provide the valuable insight and particle of guidance for the students and the research and academic aspect of excel in the scholarly writing. This webinar will be focused on the key element on high quality research paper and navigating the publication process and addressing the challenge of scholar often facing in the academic publications. It's time to welcome our honorable speaker. Dr. A. Selvaraj is a designated academic and researcher with significant contributions to the field of remote sensing. In geoinformatics and IoT, he is currently serving as assistant professor in the University of Department of Information and Communication Technology (UDICT) at the MGM University, where he is involved in the research on the biomass estimation using the LiDAR and the Google Earth Engine. He is hold a PhD from the National Institute of Technology, Trichy, has worked in the various academic roles, including his head of engineering college affiliated with the Anna University. Dr. Silvera sir has collaborated with the international faculties and supervised the numerous research projects across the undergraduate and postgraduate level. With the impressive portfolio of 53 patents in IoT and machine learning and the remote science, Dr. Selvaraj sir has been recognized with the numerous awards and such as a Teaching Excellence Award and Young Scientist Award. He has actively reviewed the prestigious Scientist Journal and has authored several publications and the book chapters in the area of artificial intelligence and the data science. His field is expertise in the international contributions and the software proficiency in the tools such as QGIS and ENVE and MATLAB, and makes him the leading the figures in the academic research and innovations. Welcome you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So good evening, sir. Welcome you for the one-day free webinar.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks a lot for a wonderful introduction. Ma'am, is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Your PPT we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
see.
Thanks for
Clearly.
confirmation.
Okay.
Actually, today my tone is it's not actually good. So try to adjust with me for next 1.5 hours. And yeah, without further delay, I'm going to present my work. Actually, so far I have done a lot of write research papers and publications regarding the patent and granted. So the past 15 years, I'm in the teaching field, and whatever I observe, everything I'm going to share with you today. And in this slide, you can see research, writing, and publication. Basically, it consists of three important component like right, author and editorial board and publisher. Actually, before going to the presentation, I think in this slide, any one of the participant can unmute yourself and this person, any one of the participants. GS Astula. Okay, I'll tell you. The GS Astular is actually basically from that Soviet Russia. Actually, by the time only the Soviet Russia, not Russia. He was worked as a patent analyst in that patent office, and he analyzed, right, thousands patent paper. He analyzed. After that, due to some reason, I think he had some defamatory speech against the government, so that he was jailed for some years. The during he was right. There's condition also by the time he worked hard and in jail, and he provided good formula like 40 inventive principle policy. So this is the very inventive principle I used in my experience also, right? Even if you have any problem statement in personally or academically, you can make use of this all the formula. In this slide, you can see around 40 principle he derived actually in during the year of the 1980 during the years of 1980s itself. There is formula. Actually, he had written the form first paper at 1956. He wrote his first papers, and very important person. Because of me only I produce a lot of pattern. Because normally what I do is I think about contradictory statement from a research. So whatever I think participant mostly from the management side, I think. So all the people who are in the management side, just you got to go through a contradiction you are meeting basically. So this contradiction to be resolved by using this all the 40 principle policy. So what he provided is that, for example, in this slide you can see segmentation is one of the first inventive principle, and also you can come across here that it's around 40 inventive principle. The 40th principle is composite material. So that is also one of the important formula for mechanical domains. So not only here we are going to make use of this entire formula for engineering and science and technology, and even in business studies also. And I said earlier that you can apply this formula to your personal issues also. As any of the participant can see among the 40 principle policy principle, can you make use of that any one of the formula to your domain? Suppose you are in the management peoples and tell me any one of the principle that you are going to use in your research. Participant, you can interact with me as well, so that it will be like good effective webinar. Otherwise, for me, it will look like it's speaking with like a wall in front of walls only. So participant kindly interact with me, and this is a good opportunity to interact with me. So please tell me just what are the principle you are going to make use of that by seeing the formula. It's not only the particular research, and also you can give your input to whatever in common domain, like common research also. Suppose, let me take one example to you. If you want to make smart kettle from the conventional method of kettle, okay, what kind of principle you are going to use?
Thermal energy.
Yes, sir, good. So what is the reason for thermal energy?
Converting into heat energy.
Yeah, then can you apply for 37 formula thermal expansions, thermal energy? So here 37 formula will be interacting with the thermal expansion. That means what kind of material, so what kind of alloy to be used for that particular kind of smart kettle. So that we have to do some contradiction. What are the contradiction you're going to meet? You are going to make this contradiction to be formulated among the 40. So we can compute 40 cross 40 matrix. In each matrix, we are using some variables or contradiction, and we are finally computing the matrix. As per the matrix, we can go for the solution. Okay, thermal expansion is also another important component. So what are the other components that you are going to use? Even I can say dynamicity, 15th principle. So 15th principle also is the dynamicity, which is nothing but actually feedback mechanisms, the feedback mechanism to be given to the controller. Right, thermal, if you go for smart kettle, normally the controller is very important part, right? Wherever you see any kind of display like LCD or LED display, definitely the controller is sitting back and working a lot, right? So like this, the dynamicity will be giving like feedback mechanism to be given to the particular system. For example, suppose whenever heat attained some particular level, so that time the key the heat information or water level information also to be given. So we can integrate sensor also. We can integrate sensor integrated to the controller, so that we can make use of the particular heat to depending upon the water level, right? The heat energy to be used, so that we can increase the efficiency. We can increase this efficiency. We can even we can save the energy as well. So many things are there. You can see in the principle, in the principle. Not only this, also you can come across segmentation. Segmentation is very dominant formula. We can make use of that. Even when I say earlier that smart kettle, suppose we go for segmentation, we can make use of the segment in different rod, so that the energy will be deployed for different rod. Suppose if any issues on the particular rod or particular alloy material just are there, we can go for replacement of that, so that we can save the capital amount also, right? So that is very right, very powerful techniques, and I have been using for more than 4 years. And whenever I found write any promise statement and the promise statement or contradiction, the contradiction compared with all the 40 principle, 40 inventive principle, and after that I can extract what are the contradictions to be made. Then according to the suggestion, I go for that solution. So this is very powerful. You can make use of this formula to our research. And also, nowadays you can go for that a lot of, right, like business enterprises like, like electric, LG, and then especially Samsung. Right now, we don't have any mobile from the, right now, okay, industry, I think. So because basically these kind of enterprises, they make use of the formula, right? All the 40 inventive principle, they make use of that. And we are having outsourcing also for that. Not only this, right, this private management, and also if you go for that government and, right, in any kind of flexibility also, like you can go for science technologies, ISRO, NASA, they are using this kind of, right, formula first of all. So what I'm doing is that before doing a start our research, right, first you go to collect your contradictions or whatever problem statement, first you go to collect these. And after that, you can go for that analysis part. So because after, and also he said that whatever the problem may be in the department and the solution will be in different department. For example, the problem statement in chemical department, but unfortunately the solution will be in that like computer science department. So that we can go for that, right? Nowadays we can go for multidisciplinary aspect and interdisciplinary aspect also. So we have to go beyond the disciplinaries, and we can do collaborative and make a collaborative, and we can do analysis and can come to the solution. So here the S curve also indicating, right? This is a very important curve. Basically, we'll be using for that business analysis also, right? And I said earlier that Nokia mobile is not nowadays. It's not getting boom. So nowadays, boom, Samsungs and other Realme, and right, in market, so many product are coming and make it competitive, right? So if this is the case, we can make use of this formula. Definitely, we can dominate. Let us, for examples, I can go for the inversions. Principle number 13, inversions. For example, in terms of for management people, I can say we can go for invert our process. For example, so whatever you following for conventional method of marketing. So if this is the case, then if you want to go for develop our business to the international level for international customer, right, this kind of business, we can go for that inversion. So that we go to reverse the process. We go to reverse the process. So in this aspect, we go to think about it, and we can come to know for that, come to get some solution accordingly. So this curve indicating that in different of 4 stages, especially the infancy, growth, and maturity and decline. So normally, once declined in the right side picture, you can see once declined, we can go for that again. It start from S curve. So it's keep on adding or not vanishing here. So this is actually outcome of the S curve. Actually, the outcome of the S curve, which is developed by that the 40 inventive principle. But actually, the person who initiated the formula, but after that, so many research development going on this, and S curve is one of the very important outcome of the particular formulas, overall formulas. So we can make use of this also. So, because normally, what we people are doing that once they do doing the research, they are not going for further level. So that is why the intellectual level will be reduced. So most of the persons they're going for they're doing research and getting publication. They will not go for that other stage like commercializations and development of the product and right, business development in different globally. So this kind of thing is not there. But here when you use of this particular formula, we can go for the keep on adding this one. It's not getting the vanish. It's keep on getting and maturity and decline, and different product will be coming with different features. So that is why that is what the right, marketing is going on there. And coming to next slide, that is what my suggestion today is that you have to do the research based on 3 important criterions. Why? Because I'm telling you, total novelty is very important. Sometimes total novelty is not possible because everyone is not like right. We cannot go for that as much depth level. because it takes time. If you want to go for writing total novelty, it takes time. So, right, more than 5 to 10 years. So we cannot wait for that more than 5 to 10 years. So if this is a case, we can go for some, right, some less degree level of that contribution to research. Like, adding of two method, we can get new method. Okay, and like hybrid methods and different kinds of methodologies like ensembling methods, adding of all the method together and get summation and average. So total novelty in sense, you have to give your at least your decent contribution in it. They're not expecting, right? Even I reviewed more than 73 paper in the spring year, right? In most of the paper I received from them, right? Like analysis of different papers and they're given some little bit contribution. For example, the author claimed that okay, they had did some work in that particular study area, but nobody, right? In particular study area, even though they applied same techniques, but instead in particular study area, nobody is working there. So that is what I have my contribution. So novelty says it depends, depending upon that quality of the journal you are going for that. Okay, but whatever I'm saying here is that you can try to do and get some little bit contribution from your work. And another thing that even though total novelty and you can go for non-ambiguous invention, side by side, I will give the tool also because in 2023, if you're not using, sorry, if in 2024, if you're not using any tool for our research, then I think definitely you're wasting, most of the time. Because tool is very much needed for you right now to go for, to save our time and also go for the possible selection also. So these are the tools. Actually, tools, why they develop the tools? Because
Sir,
we want
please
to use
share
make
the
it.
screen, sir. The screen is not shared.
Ma'am, already shared only, ma'am. Not sharing?
Now we are not able to see this, sir.
Now okay, ma'am?
No, sir.
Wait, ma'am. Now okay, ma'am? Ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we are able to see it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So here, he said earlier that do researching based on three parameters. That even though you did your work at total novelty, however, you can go for non-ambiguous invention. Non-ambiguous invention basically, which means that it refers to that whatever you have done should not export to others. For example, you are the researcher A and I'm researcher B, and both of us thinking about a particular product. I want to develop the product, and I'm going to add something in the product, and I make use of some techniques. I make use of the temperature of 70 degree to go for the product, and you also thinking in same thing 70 degrees centigrade. Even though right, we are not sharing mutually, but we are thinking mutually actually mutually, but I don't know about your concept and also you do not opt our concept, but however we are thinking parallelly. So if this is the case, non-ambiguous occurs. So even though the total novelty is a non-ambiguous, that is why most of the researchers are not sharing their idea, because non-ambiguousness will come. Okay, so it's a second category. And if you go for that, I said earlier that you can go for commercializations. It's very important so that you can block our competitions. So industrial capability. So whatever you derived in particular product or particular process or particular techniques, okay, so such techniques or that method to be adapted to industrial capability. So whatever you're done, it will be useful for the industry so that they can go for that commercial. So OEM doing this, OEM saying this one, do research based on the three important criteria. We can go for that, technical publication and as well as go for the patent. We normally patent involves right before publication. Normally they'll check with entire database. Suppose if your idea is published already, even though your idea to be published by yourself, however, it will be like right. They will not give you any kind of granted. So normally, even most of the, right, research supervisors and faculty or advisors, what they say that you can go for the patent, and after that you can go for publication. Yes, actually, this is also you have to accept it. So before going for technical contributions, so technical publication, you can go for the patent as well, because patent, it's entirely different. It's, it's very process. It's very easy also compared to the technical scientific publication. Why? Because even though I attend the total novelty and non-ambiguousness and industrial applications, okay, so I don't want to put exactly what I obtained the result. So that means what I'm saying is that physical implementations. So I don't want to mention in that actually in pattern. Just you have to do only functional implementations. So functional implementation is more than enough for that pattern is concerned. But whereas if we come across for scientific publication, right, all those information is must. You go to demonstrations to be done. You have to do outcome of the particular technical concept, and you have to present it, and you have to analyze this also. So very, very difficult if you go for scientific publication rather than the pattern. So doing the research in three aspects, it's really very interesting. And I come across these slides. I said, right, there are three important components of the research writing and publications. That means the authors and the editorial board and publishers. So these are the three components we are going to interact each other. For example, nowadays we are having right tools they are using. So in the tool only you are going normally 10 years back and 5 years back, right? Even when I was doing my PhD that time, very difficult to go for the tools. Only they make use of the email communications only. So that time we can send to the particular email ID and they will communicate with us. But right now, right, AI power technology is there. Right now, if you go for a LCD tools or Springer, right, they make use of AI powered tool and it will be checking everything instead of the manpower, like robotics process automation. So the editorial body is a very important component in whenever you can go for the publications, right, and publishers. So when I come across the author, right, so other information is really very interesting because here the author involves like corresponding author. So what is the contribution of the corresponding author? What it refers to? What's the duty of the corresponding author actually?
Sir, author communicated to the journal in connection with mail, likewise reply is the corresponding author.
Yes, sir, understood, but it's not only the contribution, right, but the main contribution of the corresponding author is there to guide the first author, and not only the first author and corresponding author, it's duty of the main duty of the corresponding author is to be so lot of guidance to be given entire author. So the corresponding author to be very senior persons. So that is why, right, in most of the time in research field, the corresponding author will be assigned by the author, assigned by the, right, our guide. Yes, so guide is like, overall he is a very experienced person rather than you. So corresponding author will guide you properly. Okay, I agree with you. You are also one of the important point. Corresponding author in all the concern, the corresponding author is responsible person, whatever. Even sometimes the paper is getting retracted right now. I think 1 month back, I think I heard about, right, about the retraction. So careful with your research. Even, sorry to say, even repeated institute also they are doing a lot of things like retractions paper. So many paper retracted, even including IITs and, other repeated institute. So because of that, right, a lot of illegal activities and also, right, copyright informations are missing and suggestions not giving properly. And there, so that is why the corresponding else should be given proper instruction to the others. So I am telling you in the coming slides about that illegal aspect and how to cite it. How, and also nowadays, right, most of people are very making use of that AI tool for our research. Whether it is accepted by the particular editor or not, yeah, because nowadays I'm receiving a lot of papers and most of the paper they are written by that, by ChatGPT tool only. Not only ChatGPT, and there are a lot of using right, specialized literature tools they're using. But however, what they do is they beat the citation. Even though, right, even in introduction section also, the particular author I received from the Springer recently, that person is cited properly there, and whatever he had given prompt, that prompt is given also in citation. It's very different because nowadays I can go for that policy of the particular journals also. It's very important. You can go through the particular journals and you have to read very carefully, then only you can go for that proper. Otherwise, the problem is like this only, retraction is coming, and so that the problem will be there in among the institution also. So you cannot lack of competition. So problem will be there. So whatever you are going for there, just you can give the citation. Let me tell that how to cite your that prompt and ChatGPT and other AI tool. I'm telling you that. Okay, and coming to the other, in this slide, you can see, right, these are the contents very important, and design your new figures. Don't use any existing figures, please, because in current scenario, there is no any tool to, to find the plagiarism pictures, right? Only the content can be identified, like whether AI plagiarism content or verbatim and, right, summarize from others. So those kind of information can be identified easily, but we cannot identify, right, the picture. Suppose I'm taking the picture from a paper and I make use of the same picture, but the content is different. What is actually retractions? What we will do is that they are extracting our content and changing to 100% is humanized content, and they make use of that same pictures and same results. So that is why most of the paper is getting retracted. Okay. So what I'm saying is that you can make use of the design of new figures. You can create your own figures also, and the figure legends to be unique, and table also, and table legends, because these figures and table, these are the content, these are the tools, or these are the component that we are going to address in the result in this session, because we are going to derive new information, we are going to infer some information from the designs and figures and tables. So that is why you have to create your new figures and create your new legends and create your new tables. Otherwise, it will be getting plagiarism levels. Okay. So I said earlier that copyright form is very important right now. That is why I'm putting in the author sites. So corresponding other will make use of the copyright form, and you have to give some sentences that whatever I obtained here, it's my originalities. I'm not getting any information from the other research papers. So like this, you can give your sentences and give your signatures by entire signatures by from entire authors. And I have to mention the contribution authors also. That is also very important. You have to contribute to what are the contribution done, like from corresponding author, first author, and second author, and a lot of contribution to be, right, the contribution to be equally. So that is very important. Don't think that, right, I'm the first author, I'm giving 90% contribution. Okay, so not like that. You want to divide your contribution equally and dimension equally to all the reviewers. Sometimes it's getting rejection also. So contribution is very, very important. You have to allocate your work properly and give an equal contribution to everyone, right? And supplementary data, right, providing data used, and if you want to go for open access, you can provide the data. Otherwise, you can go for confidential, so you can go for hybrid action. Otherwise, you're not using supplementary data, you're using the preliminary data. So this kind of data information also to be mentioned in entire other information. And come to that editorial board, I said nowadays, the powered tool is here, AI powered tool. The AI powered will tell to the editor that, okay, this is a suitable for that your journal or not immediately. But I think before 5 years back, right, what they do is the editor will do manually. Okay. So first of all, what do is they will check our keywords. Even I can show some journals of keywords. Wait. I'm sharing window is visible to you.
Yes, sir. We can able to see your
Yes,
screen.
Yes, time. Yeah. So first what to do is, even I have one paper in the environmental science and policy research. It's also hybrid option. Do you know, right? In first time, I think in 2016, I applied my first research paper here in environmental science pollution research. But my paper is accepted in 2021. See, actually, you need patience. Don't expect that I'm there. Immediately I need acceptance. Immediately I know that within 1 year. It's not possible. They have less manpower, and right, we cannot get immediately, and they're not giving any payment. Because I reviewed more than 63 paper, but I'm not given single amount from the publisher. So it depends. Even sometimes I took right, more than 6 to 7 months also for submitting the review. Okay, so we cannot expect. Basically, what the reason is getting delay is that the because of the less manpower, and also they are not getting the responses from the reviewer properly. So that is why right, they will send your manuscript to minimum 7 to 8 reviewer. Even sometime I reject my reviewer invitation also, because they will send in different reviewer, and 2 to 3 paper will be accepted and doing. Okay, so now the editor will expect only the response from the two reviewer. If two reviewer is giving positive comment, definitely no problem about other. They'll give in positive responses will be given to the reviewer. I'm sorry, author. Okay, so aim and scope is very important, because if suppose I am the editor, what editor will do is that once manuscript is received, once once paper is received, just they go for that scopes, and whatever the informations are given in the scope, and already published paper from last 3 years, and they check it up with some contents from the introduction section. Just the editor will do key search words. For example, they put, for example, environmental economics. For example, I put these keywords to our paper, so this will be reflected definitely. And if you make it so environmental chemistry, these keywords to be reflected on paper. And terrestrial biology and ecology. So this kind of time also to be reflected in paper. So whatever aim and scope addressed here, and whatever the keyword your senior researcher done in previous work, or in particular recent research paper or classical research paper also. Classical means it's old paper. It's keep on citing. More number of citation will be getting. So in that paper also you can search some keywords. For example, climate change. So climate change, in most of the other they used climate change, and they addressed something in the introduction and analysis. So then only it will be accepted first, accepted for further processing. Because nowadays, right, getting publications very difficult in Scopus also. So when I was doing my PhD in NIT, very easy to publish in Scopus. But normally, right, I was not involving in particular Scopus journals, because the time my target will be how to complete my 2 SCA paper to be there. Nowadays, relaxation is there. Even though if you complete our paper in EGC and Scopus, they are providing PhD nowadays. And also, right, our chairman of EGC is recommending that we don't want to put your paper in the journal. You have to write our quality thesis. So that is also, right, accepted one. So increase our quality level of the thesis, and it's address our all the work in the thesis enough. So that is also accepted. So we can go for that aim and scope, search your keywords first of all, and include the keywords to our introduction section. Keep in mind that search your scopes and find out what are the terms they are using, and go for the journals, particular journals papers. I can go for that. Okay, you can search your any paper here, and what are the keywords they are using. So that is also to be addressed. So then only the editor will check, okay, he used the whatever keywords are familiar with us public users. So we can go for next stage. Then only you can go for that other review process. Okay, and another important thing that you can, I said, in make use of the tool also. So what are the tool I'm going to use? For example, you can go for that AI power tool. Referencing mentally is there. Mentally also it's very important tool here. You can search. Because it's providing the database from the Scopus. and ACIE. And I'm telling you what do you mean by ACIE and ACI and whatever classification, right? And in the window, you can see this is a mentally cloud integration. So whatever, right, informations are published or the article, everything will be stored in the cloud. So that is a difference actually in ACIE and ACI. Any one of the participant can unmute yourself and can you tell me what are the difference between ACIE and ACI? Science Citation Index, Science Citation Indexing and Science Citation Indexing Expanded. What are the differences? So definitely you have to know because based on the presentation of today title, right, webinar on that research articles, and so definitely right. First of all, we'll getting a lot of information response from only research scholars, right? So if you're a research scholar, definitely you have to know what are the differences are there. You have to collect all the free cases and act accordingly, right? What are the differences? You got anything you discuss with your research supervisor or any mentor? You got any idea? What are the differences? Who do you want to put? What is the differences?
Sir, slide is not visible.
Sir?
SIE will have more citation.
Okay, sir. But basically, the difference is the data storage only. The data storage to be provided. In ACIE, in expanded version, normally they will be giving only online version, not an offline version in most of the journals in ACIE. But ACI is differently, they are proving in two format. I think they'll be giving in terms of, hard copy and as well as soft copy, in the online first also. So that is why even we are having, they will store your research paper in the drive. So that is the most, right, dominant difference between that ACIE and ACIE. In science expanded, but nothing. But the quality is concerned, both are equal. Don't think that, right? So my guide is stressing to me put ACIE and ACI. Don't go for the ACIE. So ask me to go for only ACI, ACI. Not like that. You have to tell to them that okay, both are quality. You have to collect some references, authorized papers, authorized publishers, what they suggesting the differences. Okay, you approach with them and tell to them. No problem about that. Okay, so quality is concerned, both are equal. And I said now this sometime, right, some of the journals is falls in both category, like SCAE and ACAE. So both categories, science citation indexing and scientific indexing expanded as well, but very rare. Okay, so depending upon the particular journals. Okay, so here,
Sir,
yes, ma'am.
sir, your screen is not visible, sir.
Ma'am, I'm showing the window only, ma'am. Window.
Okay, sir.
Hi,
Not
Mr.
clear.
Jaishankar. Can you please stop your screen or please leave from the call? Arunmal ma'am, please remove that x-axis person.
Remove him.
Remove him from the meeting. And can you please try to remove Jaishankar as well?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, Selbrat sir, we are really sorry. You can now start screen share.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Wait, madam. No, it's visible now. The mentally reference management systems. This screen is visible now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So this is what I said earlier that if you're in the 2024, if you're not using any tool, actually keep in mind that all the tools are developed to make use of yourself only. You can make use of the tool, Don't bother about that. They are telling that it is restricted. They are not. They are telling that don't use the ChatGPT, and they are telling that I don't use AI research tools. And it's not like that. So basically, the tools are developed for that. Only you get to make use of that. I said earlier that you can whatever you have any idea, just you got to put in that lot of yeah. Even we are having like EndNote also there, another cloud based tools. That is actually that is not an open access, but mentally is I think it's open access only. It's not a commercial, but EndNote is gravity analysis. That is very powerful tool, and that we are having right more number of papers. Okay, so you can search here any article here, and for example, so before starting our any paper or before doing, suppose you are the fresh to the PhD, right? What they do, the PhD guide will tell you that okay, can we go for the broad area in artificial intelligence or machine learning, or can we go for explainable AI, or can we go for that in environmental science? So many discussion going on, right? So now the same discussion to be given into the tool also, it will giving more information and it will getting refined information, because I'm going to tell you right in literature review slides. That means right now we are talking about systematic literature appraisals. Systematic literature appraisal is very important, and it's not like in general. It will be giving you a narrow information, right? For example, I can put some information here, AI empowerment or AI in education. So here you can make use of that. In 2024, we are having 1,563 papers are there for AI in education, and it will be giving database from the elsewhere. So elsewhere will maintain, I think, corpus syntax is maintained by the that elsewhere. So not only this Scopus database, and also right the cloud is searching from in different repeated database like ACIE. I said earlier that. So three ACI and ACIE and ESCI. So that is what emerging source citation index. And unfortunately, this tool will not collect any paper from your UGC referred journal. Yes, UGC referred journals very easy, and also in different UGC journal having different protocol they are using. Right? Some journals will not giving at open access. It's like a commercial, and sometimes no online version of only offline. So it is very difficult. So that is why right in cloud computing tools very difficult to retract some information. Okay, so whatever I'm showing here, right, it show like 1,563. It's exclude from the EGC and other some standard citations or standard indexing, right? So we can shortly figure also. Suppose we are going for right 2020. What are the papers are there? We can choose that also. So right for literature it's very easy to segregate. In 2021, how much papers are there? And you can choose what are the document types also there. Whether the document types from journals, conference. Yes, it's a type of publication. That is what we are going to discuss in coming slides. That what are the classification of the particular research publication, right? Because books and book chapter also one of the publication, right? It's one kind of publication, but it is restructured from the particular information. So that is why you will not get citation, and in most of the organization, right, in educational sectors and any affects body, accreditation body, they are not giving importance for the book chapter and book textbook. Only they are giving information in the particular journal, and followed by the patent and other thing, right? So here, there is a separate classification here in document type. What are the conference? What are the like types like journals and conference proceedings, book sections, and thesis in different classification, and also you can see in different citation also. So that we can see visualization in the PDF, and you can go for that. You can visualize the all the PDF here also. And whatever paper related to the particular paper, you can see in the right side also. Okay, and you can add it to library, and you can go for that, right, further studies or further exploration, and to show to our guide also. Because when I was doing my PhD, that time I need to take printout in minimum 10 to 20 paper. Even I need to make 150 paper. I have taken printout, and finally I paid a lot of amount to wind up the PhD by the time. Here because I attended the PhD in 6 years there, and I put lot of printout. So nowadays it's not that the cloud computing tool are there. They're computing easily and store in virtual machine, right? So whenever I need to interact with the guide or my supervisor or mentor, I can see these things are very easily. Once I down it to library, right? For example, you can add the library. If you add this library, mean automatically it's underneath the library. Suppose you got to visualize here itself. No need to take printout and check it up that if any open access, we can see it. Otherwise, you can contact our library to get your full access paper, right? And you can study here itself and you have to note it down papers, note it down all the concept here, right? So like this, suppose if you want to go for further, I need to go for that, you can make use of that. For example, AI education in India, let me put like this, and we will be getting in India, I think only in 2024, right? From the repeated database is concerned, only we are publishing 25 papers. So it's overall. So that I said earlier, right? Segmentation is very, very important, right? Segmentation is you apply your formula to any problem statement. Literature also you can do it there. Segmentation were paper in different areas. For example, A education is you have to separately segmented, and A education in India is you have to segmented. So all those things comes together. Finally, you can go for your final objectives of the paper. Subjectives is not easy to get. Objectives to be given. Objectives to be extracted after detailed study from your literature or your existing research. So that is very important. So that we can search in different keywords and collect our paper, read our paper, and it will be stored automatically in the tool I said earlier. So what we can go for, you can go for library, just click it. So because I'm not presenting only the PPT, but I have to present the tools also, because then only it will be effective webinar, because it's not sometimes very boring if you present only PPT. So no proper outcome will be not be expected from the particular presentation or webinar. So that is why I'm putting extra efforts for you there. Okay, so listen, whatever I am showing here, right, it will be stored here. I can extracted from that in different years. For example, recent papers 2024, 23, and 2014, 2017, 2018, 2015, right? And all these information also available, like source and added information, years and authors. So you can click here, I can see information about the abstract. You can expand also, you can copy, paste, and from our research papers. Sorry. So you can copy all the abstracts and play somewhere for further discussions, because these kind of informations will be highly useful during our chapter writing. And you can segregate to the group also. For example, create a group here and make series of like chapter 1, like introductions. So in which I whatever going to use, what are the paper I'm going to make use of that. For example, I'm going to make use of the 2018-15. So this paper I'm going to cite. So you can drag and drop, just to go drag and drop the great collections. Yeah, introduction section here, right? So just click it and drag introduction section. So it's coming here. So if your problem is segmented correctly, so introduction section, I'm going to address about these informations. As for example, school as a teacher, student education, conduct learning from collaboration. What are the content you are going to take? I'm going to take some verbatim from the, okay, some information going to extract from the particular information I'm going to address here. So it will be segregated actually, so that useful for you, right? So like this, I can make use of the tool. Put all references, right? can select this all the tools, all the papers, and I can go for that in different format also there. Here you can see change citation styles, current selected IEEE format. I think in most of the review, most of the research, I think research scholar there are, our faculty. Right, in most of the time, what we are doing is that we are getting amazing from other people, how they order the reference. I can do these things. Even I realized when I was doing my PhD that time. Because they addressed, right, in more number of research references, 90 papers, 150 papers, how they did it manually. I thought in that way only, but actually what they did, they used the tools and they're using the software. So utilization of the software is very, very important for our research. Utilization of the software is very much important for our research. So you got to learn simultaneously whenever you find time. You got to utilize your time for learning these different tools, like whether it will be like research tools, AI powered tools, or reference management tools, or the tool is specialized designed for literature review analysis, literature appraisals, like detailed thesis writing, or data analysis tools. Nowadays, we make use of the data analysis tool also. Suppose you are not, expert in the code, and if you want to go for that analysis of the tool, analysis of the data, yes, data used is very, very important in methodology section. First of all, I am as a reviewer expecting what are the data they used. First, I will look into the paper only. So if data information is missing or less number of information there, then I give some major revision, like I detailed information is needed for data section. So you have to thoroughly study each sections and you have to address properly as per the guidance given by that journals and as per the guidance from CES and mentor guide. So definitely I'm sure that your paper will be published. Okay, so here I can choose the current selected types, like in different format is there. You can choose depending upon that journal guidelines given by the particular publisher to the guide for authors, right? Other guidance. So you have to visualize this in different format, right? For example, like IEEE and right, different format is there. Suppose you go for conference proceedings, so you can choose the IEEE or IEEE access. Both are for right, maintaining same format only. IEEE same for IEEE access and IEEE Explorer also. Right, what is the difference between Explorer and IEEE access? IEEE Explorer randomly is all the paper accepting from the presentations and proceedings, like a proceeding paper, right? But access is different. It's conducting research. So conducted research to be published properly. So that is very tedious and very difficult to access, right? Very difficult to publish it. So we need a lot of unique work for IEEE. That is why they get two classification: IEEE Access and IEEE Explorer. Okay, so but however, current citation style is common for both, right? IEEE Access and IEEE is both the same. So I choose like this. So after that, I can just copy as formatted citation, just copy it. Okay. Just Google document. Even here I copied everything and copied from this. So I done within 5 minutes only. But thing is that you have to strong with the paper. Whatever paper you deployed for our research, that will be properly selected from the mentally software. So here, what is the advantage is that, so whatever the paper, sometimes it's not indexing in Scopus, not indexing in the SCI, and not indexing in the SCI and ESI, right? So those paper is not covered here. That means whatever I referenced here is obtained from the repeated. It's not necessary to go for check it up further. because it is justified properly because I made use of the tool. So keep in mind that suppose you're not using the tool and if you want to go for do or work in manually, how it is possible? It's very difficult to go there, right? And you can utilize for a lot of times for that. Only for references sections. Even I spent a lot of time for reference sections in 2015 when I wrote my first paper. So no guidance properly that time. So even I took more than 2 to 3 days for reference section. But right now it's not like that. Everything is there in good tools and every tools are deployed in the cloud also. So no need to bother about that our right components of that and its specification. No need to bother about that, right? So this kind of research also to be procedures also to be done properly. And you got to note down what are the this is what right bibliography, right? So bibliography is very very important in the research is concerned. So entirely bibliography. Suppose just I have 8 bibliography. In 8 bibliography, I'm going to make use of only few. For example, only first to 4. I'm going to make use of that in citation. So that is what you got to know the differences between that citation and references. Citation and bibliography. So why I'm saying this one, yes, before reading our research papers or before starting our research paper or analysis of the research paper, start our prerequisites definition, what it is specifying. Okay, what are the advantages there? Any tools are there for these purposes. So you got to do a lot of work on it nowadays, so that you can complete your work in time, and also you can complete your get published in time also. Okay, I am coming back to that presentation now. So this is what editorial board, ma'am, is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the second component of you, right? As a researchers, editor board is also nowadays I said AH check based powered tools also available, like editorial manager, right? So editorial managers we can see a lot of informations like reviewer view and editorial view and revision, resubmit. All those information will be given to the editorial board. Accordingly, we can interact, right? And don't expect, I said, immediately acceptance because no reviewer will accept at current format. Even, I reviewed more than 60 paper, but accepted only 5 to 10 paper in current format. Because they are very, powerful researcher and they are top scientists from 2% of the scientists. So they know very well how to do do's and don'ts. So they have written properly. And so that is why in first current format, they accept most of the paper are accepted. I mean, less number of paper accepted. But whereas if you go for that in different scenarios, it's very difficult there. So because that we are very lazy, basically that we are not never look up that particular journals or guidelines, and we are never study about that. We never read about that particular information, and directly we are doing all the work in blindly and getting rejected. Once getting rejected, and we are getting worried that my paper is getting rejected, and what to do after that. Okay, so thing is that we are not actually finding any possible selection to publish. So what it is, you can go for smart work also. Even I did the smart work in that also. Because I said in that pollution journal recently I have shown to you, right, early. In the journal put at 2019, I put on paper and they rejected. But what I did it, after that I sent mail to the editor that, sir, I'm not having any information and they're giving some information, reviewer, okay. But now I'm interested to publish my journal with improvement of my research paper. So what I mailed to them is that give second chances to me to address my all the comments, and next time I can apply like this. Immediately I got reply that okay, they changed in editorial board and they are mentioning that at current format it is not acceptable. Then what I did it, I made use of the 6 month and I developed properly with all the correction and getting experience from the those are published already into the Springer in particular journals also, and overall in Springer elsewhere. I got idea after that. And after that, and they suggest something. For example, include a different validation model. Your paper validation is model is not there, so you have to give a different validation model and justify your work. Normally, in research paper is concerned, you go to write your validation part. Because normally I compromise paper, I compromise my research work that I have done like this only. But others will not believe in your work. Others will not believe in your work. So that is why we have to make in different validation model. That model to be is justification of the research work. So what I did it, I forget to, I don't know, right? By the time I did not know that. So that is why I forgot to add of my validation model. After that, I took 6 months, I added, I had done different validation model, and I made a justification. And after that, I come to know that my model is predicting very well than that validation model. So that is one of the very good point I observed from the seniors. So I addressed immediately. Then finally, right after that, I got major revision, and finally it's accepted in after 1 year. Exactly, literally 1 year. 2020 during lockdown period is getting accepted. So what do you do is don't get nervous and don't get panic once getting rejected. Okay, so you can go for further information. But nowadays I'm saying that no need to send mail, no need to send mail to editor, because that time no problem. That time is no less number of researcher and less number of publications there. Right now, more number of researcher coming and no more of PhD research going on. So many techniques are coming out, right, in journal. So right now, what to do is instead of sending to the email to the particular editor, you make use of yourself and get a suggestion from different AI tools, and get suggestion from that AI tools and improve yourself. And you can go for collaboration with human being. So because right now we are sitting in industry 5.0, you have to make use of collaboration with human being as well as the machine. So definitely I'm saying that the increase has been increased if we go for collaborate with machine and human. In industry 4.0, normally only collaboration will be only human being. Only machine, only machine. But right now, industry, 5.0 and 6.0, we are going to make use of that interaction between, human and machine. So it will be is completely the successful one. So you do accordingly that also. Next slides, you can see in the publisher, this we know, right? This first once getting accepted, you're very, very happy if you do real research. Okay, then after that, they will send you a base settings setup. And I'm talking about only for that, for repeated journals, right? Repeated journal, they are asking the page settings, and because they are using this entirely the editorial manager system, right? So it's the cloud. That is why the publisher can asking like, right, page settings and type settings and gallery groups, and online first version is to be published immediately. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that you have to know what are the processes are there, what are the limitations are there. You have to thoroughly understand, extract information in 3 components, right? And in the coming slides, in this slide, you can see the writing quality research paper requires a systematic approach. I said earlier that nowadays don't do the literature review, you have to do your systematic literature appraisals. Okay, if you do only literature review, okay, it's giving only detailed general information only, right? Okay, what are the difference between the literature review in conventional and systematic literature review? Any participants can unmute yourself and can. What are the differences? Tell me the one differences between this systematic literature review and literature review. Participants, please interact with me because only half an hour only there. Then I need to complete all the tools and need to complete our PPT also. So please just interact with me. Just a try.
Literature review will be a reference for our research work.
Sir, please repeat, sir.
It is only a reference, sir. Reference.
The difference only
What
difference between literature. Don't you find any differences in both literature review and systematic literature review? Because name implies mentioning systematic, right? Systematic approach. What
But different.
actually refers to
Collecting existing works.
in where? Literature review or systematic approach?
Systematic in a literature review, sir. We are going to collect all the existing methodology, what they have done, what they have utilized that particular tools and technology. Everything we have collected from the literature review.
Okay.
Based
Then
on
what
that
do you mean with
particular literature review, we are going to allocate the systematic of that particular what they have done on that particular tool exactly. What is the
okay.
next level we have to do?
Yeah, understood, ma'am. You are closing to them. But normally you have to go for interactive questions in systematic approach. Even right, you have to develop your questions basically. That is like objectives. Actually, in introduction section, we are going to write objectives, and sometimes in introduction section, I'm going to for lead for study also, need of the study, and what are the objectives in my thesis, and the objective able to solve your queries. For example, AI in education. Let me ask questions whether AI in education will improve your human empowerment. So let me put some questions. So I am taking out some literature review in systematic approach with the scientific question. So what you do is once read out all the literature, you go to start question making. You go to start the what are the question are possible, like whatever the questions you can derive the question. After that, you can go for the further objectives and correlate your objective with question, whether your objective going to solve your question or not. If particular objective is not giving solution for your question, then you have to remove the question. So that is what actually systematic approach. The systematic approach is further refinement of the literature. Literature is, I said earlier that in tools I said now. For example, in just now I have shown one tool like mentally is reference management tool. I put some A in education keywords, A in education. Now I'm going to make some scientific question in A in education, and I have to again refine our literature review so that you will get some idea from that. In particularly, you can go for narrow field. So you are coming to our research actually. You are coming to research basically. Now you are in the research stage. After that, you have to go for your formulation of the objectives according to your question. So addressing your question is very, very important in introduction section. You have to address your minimum 5 to 6 questions, research questions. Or I can mention in terms of like, depending upon that for guidelines given by the particular university or at that particular institute. But however, if it is like optional, then you can give a label like that scientific questions. You can mention like this scientific question. You have to derive a scientific question and you have to start our literature review. So I don't want to go for the general review because I don't want to work further. I don't want to work on in general. Okay, because my guide said that you have to my mentor asked me to go work on it only. For example, whether AI is going to help is that. After that, I'm going to ask some question in that whether the particular explainable AI going to help to for brain tumor reduction. So this is refined questions from the general. So that is what actually the difference between the literature review and systematic literature review. Now, question is that which one I want to start, whether I want to go for literature review or systematic literature review. First, in first 6 months, you can go for literature review only. Okay, you can start in basically from that basic levels from the classical from 1990 or 1980 something, okay, until 2024, right? I have shown just now that I obtained from last 5 year paper, right? 2018, 2022, 2023, right? Normally, what they will ask is that the contribution from that in last 5 years, you got to collect it and we do analysis, latest publication. It's not like that. Sometimes we'll get some information from the classical paper also, and you can remodify that method, the particular user used in the 1990, and you can go for hybrid methods also, right? So that is different. So you have to go for the 6 months for literature review, and after 6 months, or you can start your systematic approach. Okay, we can discuss with the guide about that. This is my literature review and this is my systematic approach. Okay, and you want to frame some question, then discuss with that. Okay, so what are the whoever what if less number of questions are only solved by your objectives, mean just you got to go for further refinement for next 6 months, because the people are keep on developing the papers and they're publishing, right? So you can extend again that again 2 to 3 months, right? And you can start over again systematic approach, you will get idea. So the finding will be there. Even though, right, sometimes you are getting locked in facilities, because normally India is concerned, it's very poor, right, in facilities concerned. They're not giving any contribution from the GDP for research. But if you go for that, very developed country, right, they're giving separate funding for publication. In China also, right, in most of the research scholars, they're getting that 3 to 5 lakh for their publication alone. So that is why they did PhD work with advanced. But in India is concerned, it's very difficult. It's, without funding and putting into paper in that particular journal is very, very difficult. So if this is the case, only your involvement and only your novelty and dedication only will be speaking here, right? So don't bother about the timeline. Do a quality paper in that particular journals and do it. So don't bother about that extensions like 5 years, 6 years, not like that. Your quality paper to be addressed properly, so that you can block your computation. It's not like count, right? Only quality paper, only one quality paper is enough for you, right? That is what I'm going to discuss in coming slides. Quality is concerned. Okay, so choose your strong research topics. And after that, I said earlier, right, you have to conduct in 2 activities like systematic approach and general literature, right? In general literature, so you have to just summarize and what they have done. I said, ma'am said, right? What is the contribution? What is the limitation? So that is also one of the thing. And I need to ask another question that what do you mean by literature, critical appraisal and literature review? Critical appraisals means what and literature means what?
Where we can find the research gap or problem identification.
Where, sir?
Where we can find the problem or we can find the research gap.
Hmm. In literature, critical appraisal, right?
Sir.
You are talking about critical literature appraisal, right, sir?
Sir, yes,
Finding
sir.
gap. Yes, sir. That is finding out the gap. So not only the gap you can identify, but also you can extract the limitations and advantages, and in different feature also, right? So nowadays, right, lot of AI tool are there giving different feature, various feature. They are giving 10 features. All the 10 feature getting added in media comparative statement, and you can proceed as well, right? And literature is different, right? As sir said that in literature, just I'm going to extract information, what the methodology used and how they had done, what are the procedures, like that only. But in critical appraisal is different. They're going to appraising in different features. You would fix your criteria like features. As for the feature, you got to collect and make a deviations and find the literature gap. The literature gap identify like this only. Sorry. The literature gap will be identified like this, adding the different features. For example, one author used this one SVM, and second author using modified SVM, and third author using that navy bias, and fourth author using modified navy bias, and fifth author using data dimensionality, and sixth author they're using hybrid. This method adding up the SVM and that one. So you are getting comparative statement completely from the repeated journals, and you have to make in different model and compare with the existing critical literature appraisal. Then you can find that okay, this is a gap. You can go for that. Then you can proceed and you can mention as proposed method. We are finding a lot of things from literature reviews like right, proposed method, hybrid method. How they are done? Actually, they derived from the critical literature appraisal only. And there are a lot of tools there for critical literature appraisals. Right, in different AI tool is there, and there are a lot of commercial tools and right, open source tool also there. Okay, just for 5 minutes, I'll show one tool. So this is one of the very famous tools for that. I think most of the research currently used this size phase. Size phase is actually recently they reframed, but actual name is the typeset IO. Is it visible now, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Visible?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Visible, sir.
visible.
Sir, you can give some titles here. For example, I said A in education. A in education. Artificial intelligence educations. So answer from the top 5 papers it's showing like this. So it is like critical appraisal only. Answer from the top 5 papers, it's giving like from top 5 paper recently, like in 2024 only, right? And here you can see in 2023, last 5 years. Okay. And challenges in the ethical considerations. The ethical consideration is very difficult in AI education, right? And AI application in the AI educations and answer from the top. The integration of artificial intelligence education is transforming teaching and learning process, offering personalized experience and enhancing education outcome. Like this. And I can see here, I said earlier, various features are there. You can add the features, everything here, different feature, result, literature reviews, limitation, contribution, practical implication, objectives, finding research gap, feature research, independent variables, and challenge, and whatever, right? And here, suppose sometimes it's not free of option, but you can choose in different features, like less number of features first, and after that you can create another columns and add different features and comes together and you can get a solution, right? For that, don't want to go for that, it's up to you. If you want to go for that subscription, you can go for it. But here I added only 3 columns and summarized abstract and data sets. However, it's you have to verify properly with that full papers only. Just don't take extraction of that all the information and don't believe it. Sometimes the machine learning and AI intelligence will not give proper efficiency, because keep in mind that it's not giving 100% efficiency. It will be giving like, right, 92, 94, 95. So remaining 80% is not in accuracy. So hence, you have to check properly. So here is this paper is giving a lot of information. AI integration education reveals process. Schools must be prepare students for higher futures. Successfully initiated or emerging in various countries. So here I can choose the different columns here. Data used, method used. So I can go from here column. So just you go to close it and this close it. Just remove it and remove it. And just add, because I think 6 months back all the features is free of cost, right? But right now I'm not getting free of cost. Only 3 only we are getting. So suppose we are going for that data used.
Sir, we are able to see only the size space screen, sir.
No, wait, I'm adding that only. Wait.
Okay, sir.
Okay. You can go for the objectives. Now visible now, ma'am? Yeah. Here the particular paper, it's giving the objectives of the introduction, introduce AI to transform teaching for student learning opportunities and assist a teacher in implementing digital technology for AI effectively. So this is what objectives of this paper. So whatever objectives in your mind, actually you have to correlate with this. So whatever the objectives is matching with you, just you have to take out the paper and you have to do and you have to analyze this and critically. After that, you have to address in that research paper. So it's like a journey. You have to travel. You cannot travel immediately. It's like thousands of kilometers a day. You have to travel slowly and steady and properly to be placed and reach the destination. So guide is one of the important factor for you. Definitely agree with that. If the guide will help you to try, taking part of the journey and very safely, and wherever you're stucking there, that time the particular mentor or guide will help you to go for that and finally reaching. So we need, lot of dedications and patience in these regards. Okay, so do a research hereafter. At least this webinar will help you to that. You have to sort out problem properly and segment your objectives properly and do slowly all the work and effectively make use of the tools, I said, and save our time. So that is what you can save our time and you to utilize the time for some other purposes. Okay, because in 2024 you must use the tools, no way. So like this, you can go for that objectives, and you can collect these objectives of that. What are the method they're using? That is also available. Normally, what we do is we can collect the data sets, objectives, and method. So this is what they very important. What the method they're using for that. Okay, sometimes it's not giving proper method also. Not only the particular feature, in all other feature also. So you have to validate properly. So it takes some time. So no way, but we can find the proper relevance is very important, right? So the relevance will be obtaining from that in particular, right, AI tool. So AI based tools also very important. But thing is that suppose I'm using the AI tools, but I need to cite this. How to do that? So how to cite how to write cite this one. Suppose you are a researcher and you are using some information you're obtaining, and you're forget to give the references or citation. So that time your paper will be retracted. Keep in mind that you are very happy. Suppose you are publishing paper by using various tool, but even this paper will be retracted after 1 year, 2 year, and there will be displaying your names and paper and in journal itself in homepage. So that is a very difficult condition. So don't go for that. So whatever you are using, that you can mention the ChatGPT tools here. How to cite here? They are using this. So for example, references. When given the part of prompt, what is the more accurate representation? The ChatGPT generated text indicated that different brains region work together. He actually particularly a particular author has to this kind of prompt, and these are references they're giving. So these are the recent references in ChatGPT based references. Unfortunately, you would not find this kind of references because they're very hesitant to write give the information, but they used the tools. So and nowadays, right, AI tools, AI plagiarism tools also is right. Checking with how many contents you are copied from that AI tools. Sorry, how much contribution you are paying, like in terms of percentage, 2%, 3%. Okay, so nowadays the Authorized tool is there. For example, QBot is there. QBot is there. So these are very important open source tools. Okay, you will find the AI directors tools. Here you can find the AI director contribution. For example, I put some content. Wait, I'll content on content, or I'll upload one document. Photo. Okay, I'll put this one. So minimum 1,200 only, but no problem. I can do slowly one by one. I can remove some words from this. So listen, 70% of the
Screen
text
is
that you
not visible, sir. Actually, the
wait,
screen is there with where you taught that sky space.
okay,
We are able to view that only.
okay. Thanks for information. I do. No, okay, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Here, listen here. I copied some content and I copied from that. 70% of the text is likely AI generated. AI generated 70%, and AI generated and AI refined 0%. Human written and AI refined 0%. Human written is 25%. You are adapted technology. In 2025, in 2015, when I was in the INIT, this kind of classification is not there. But it is mandatory now in 2024 that this kind of classification to be done, like AI generated, AI refined, human written, and AI technologies. So wherever, even though we are improving technology, right, this kind of things also to be balanced. Human written and AI refined 0%, and human written is only 25%. So you have to refine your paper properly and make like humanism. For humanism also, there were different AI tools are there to refine as human writer, right? So there is another tools also there. So you can make use of the tool also. But however, I am suggesting that just you got to write in AI tool, no problem. But after that, you can try to change in the summaries, try to change some vocabularies and synonyms, and write a way of that grammar styles. You have to introduce a lot of passive sentences and active sentence also nowadays they are accepting. Once upon a time, they used to only have past tense only, right? Past participles and past tense in scientific publication. But right now, they're accepting the, sometimes you can go for the present tense also, they're accepting. I mean, active voices. Okay, so active voice based sentences also to be reframed and they can reduce the accuracy. So, you have to worry about that. Okay, so even though you're written properly, okay, so they will check your content. It depending upon the journals, right? In IEEE, they're not checking anything in the AI generated tools, right? Even I used most of the tools in the AI and I published in the IEEE access, but I given proper citation. I said how to give the citation, so that is also I given. I'll share to you that particular link how to cite that ChatGPT tool. So that is only for ChatGPT they are given, but you can make use of the other tool also and modify accordingly. Okay. Okay, stop here now and I go coming to presentation now. So use the appropriate tool. This is what I'm saying that okay, you got to use your mentally software tool, you got to use the EndNote software tool. So many tools are there, but only the problem is that people are not exploring those tools. People are not exploring these tools. You are the researcher, you have to make use of the tool. There are a lot of tools are coming into market. You have to get practice in the tools and try to do that. And also, I said already that EndNote is very powerful tool. It's giving your data a literature review within the second from right more than 50,000, 5,000 or 15,000 journals from the database. So you will get at a time you're getting n number of paper. But keep in mind that it's very difficult if you go for manually. Yes, you have to go for in that manually means it's very difficult. It's not possible. Okay, and that ensure that high quality writing and that address the ethical concern. I said it's a very important point. So your paper should not be retracted. So you have to keep in mind that you have to address the ethical concerns and you have to obtain the seek feedback from the mentor and guide and co-supervisors or subject expert. Okay, so before publishing your paper, get your advices. Nobody is doing this one. Okay, you got to send your paper to some expert person and give your review on it. I'll give suggestion or advice on me in paper what to do like that. Okay, so that is also very important. And the introduction section is also another important section in the research paper, right? So what are things to be done actually introduction section? Because there is a confusion between introduction section and literature review. Sometimes the introduction section is look like literature review also. Sometimes the literature review section also look like introduction section also. Am I right? So introduction section basically contains objectives, but objectives should not be there in literature review. But sometimes it depends on the journal and depends upon the paper published already in the particular journal. So you have to collect the proper impact factor journals, right? So I'm telling you what do you mean by the impact factors actually. That in SCI paper normally impact factor generally it falls into that Q1 journals or that ACI, right? Sometimes ESCI emerging science source citation index, right? Sometimes non-impact calculation. Sometimes calculation will be there. Sometimes no impact factor calculation are there. So because it's a different classification. Why particular paper is having zero impact factor? Why it is having its high impact factor? Because we having different database and different classifications. So that is why we having different impact factor. And sometimes the paper does not have the impact factor. because we are having different citation index, different different database. So service provider, they are fixing like this, and researcher are publishing in different database. Okay, so that is what you got to know entire terms and entire definitions of in our entire components or terminology related to the research. Okay, you got to do that. So objectives to be addressed actually in the introduction sections. Before setting our objectives, content. I said you can make a literature, systematic approach, and you got to formulate the objectives. After that, you got to go give a research question. I said no, research question is very important. The research question is derived from the systematic approach literature. I said earlier that AI in education. Let me question ask whether AI will be empower the human in education. So that is what my question. And what are the papers that published? Then I am taking out. So this is question to be formulated here after objectives. And what are the significations obtained? What are the major signification each papers that contribution in the particular research field? Okay. So background, nothing but I can say it's like motivation. What are the motivation you obtained in particular paper? So motivation to be addressed. So problem statements are also to be addressed, but it's not necessary to address all these points, all the 5 points, but it's optional. Okay, you can address only background and objectives. Sometimes it's optional. Such question is optional because we can give introduction in the chapter thesis. It's not necessary to go. And also keep in mind that participants, it is not necessary to address everything in the paper. Keep in mind that. Otherwise, they will find out your all the finding, right? And they go for further finding. Actually, they have to think about it, how they did it, how they solve the issues. So my suggestion is that don't give detailed explanation to them, to the reader. I agree with that. Suppose if you go for detailed citation, if you need good citation, that time your paper to be written very properly. So then only we will give a citation. Here they understood basically whatever that. Suppose you don't want to go for citation, but you want to protect your paper because it is your mind to be protected, your mind work, right? So by the time it's not necessary to go address all those things, right? Only little bit information is enough. Sometimes you don't want to give research questions and you don't want to give a significance. Only these 3 information is enough background, and you don't want to give problem statement as well. You can give a background and objectives introduction section, right? So the main purpose of the introduction section is that it's explain why the topic is important and outline of the objectives of the study. This 2 information is mandatory in the introduction sections. And literature section is also somewhat, I said, it's confusing matter. So listen, in thesis, you have to write different introduction sections and you have to change literature review differently. But in as per the scientific research is concerned, the introduction section and literature review is almost similar. Okay, because we are going to give you that information from the background also you can address here. And later your background, what are the other also discussed about the background. That is also you can discuss. For example, by giving one definition and some other also giving same definition or the modified definition. Okay, some third person will make use of your first other information, second other information, and with properly citation to be given. The citation to be given in bracket. So that is what we are following about the citation in different styles. So that is what difference between the citation and bibliography. So what are the difference between citation and bibliography? What are the difference between the citation and bibliography? In bibliography, I can make use of n number of references. I mean, n number of citation or references. I don't want to confuse citation. I'm going to tell like that references. It's like a grouping of paper. For example, I made use of 150 paper for my thesis, right? All those 150 paper to be addressed in the thesis. or in scientific publication, whatever, for example, 90 paper. 90 paper is minimum necessary for review paper. Keep in mind that just take a note like 40 paper, 30 paper and writing something and sending journals and getting rejected, and you're worrying about yourself that your is getting rejected. So you have to do like what is my research properly, what do you mean by literature review paper, and what are the requirements they're expecting, what are the expectation of the editor, what are the expectation of the reviewer, what are the expectation from the reader. All those information to be obtained properly and executed in systematic manner, right? Otherwise, you will be getting rejected only. So the particular webinar will going to tell you that you have to use some proper protocols and make a particular content effectively. So then only your paper will be accepted. Okay. So here and coming to the literature review, I said both are same only. In literature also you can write same thing, but you have to address your some findings. It's missing in, and also you can criticize also. Don't worry about that. For example, in that particular author, for let us consider myself, my A. Selvaraj, right? Selvaraj et al. Have reported that what we can say that deep learning approach for that for noise reduction techniques. Okay, suppose you are using same deep learning technique and same data sets, and you can collect same data sets, and you are using same data sets and same techniques, right? Suppose you are achieving some information, so are slightly, I mean, some significantly there has been increased in accuracy. So that time you can criticize in the literature review. So in their work, they used the same data sets, they used these data sets. They achieved this much accuracy. In my work, okay, it has been addressed these data sets with same techniques. I obtained 94%, for example. So this is what criticism and do over the reviewer. So this kind of things to be given in the literature reviews. Normally, right, we cannot find this kind of information because normally it's not, they will not like, they don't like, even I don't like to give like this information to them. But if you're real researchers, then you can go for it also in literature reviews concern. So you have to highlight your finding, it's very important, and you have to highlight your gaps that you are going to identify from the existing literatures. So that is also you can address in the literature review. So literature review is very, very important part, but I'm saying that don't write immediately literature review. I'm telling you what are the part to be continue. In coming slides, I will tell you. So I want to explain the presentation more. Presentation because almost time up. Okay, and data used is concerned, right? That your detailed data information is also necessary because even in my paper also they are asking so many information in the data sets. I can give us this much information only, but they are asking me to give so many information. I cannot give. Actually, I cannot give this so much information. Whatever information is there in data sets concerned, I can give. Normally, the reviewer is expecting detailed information is there in data analysis concern. You go to detailed analysis to be given, like for example, description of the data set, statistics information of the data sets, right? And different view like exploratory data analysis on the data sets, presenting in different view, presenting in different plot, like two-dimensional information needed. That is what their detailed explanations. Yes, they have to see in that in plot itself. They don't want to write, don't want to read actually. They whatever you given. Because normally the picture will be giving much information rather than the one statement. It's giving like millions of information. That is why normally reviewer are asking you to give some information in thematic way. So thematic way is also very, very important in data set used. So keep in mind that participant, you have to give lot of information in data sets concern, especially if you go for management peoples, I think you have to give a lot of information, you have to set your hypothesis and you have to do your methods and analysis, and after that you can give for accept or not. You have to do detailed discussions, right? And you have to give your thematic way data analysis also. Okay, data analysis with thematic way. That is also to be addressed in the data used. So time frame also very, very important, right? So most of the researchers are they are missing this information. They will they address properly about the timeline. Even I missed in my research paper. Then the reviewer asked me that when you collect the data, address the data, and sending you the proofs information. Right? GPS photographics. Okay, so that is also very important. So research is concerned, justification is very important. So you used to take a lot of photo with just support with GPS camera. Okay, so collect some cameras with GPS enabled, and you have to take photo and you have to attach field photographs or data collection photographs. Okay, so those information to be given the data section alone. Now with the data section alone separately, or it's included with methodologies. So methodology will be starting with data collection. Am I right? We cannot start all the method without data collection because normally we are importing your data sets for exploration further, right? So detailed information data sets also highly needed, and time frame is very important. I collect the data sets in 2019 at we collected of 100 number of samples. For time being, for research purposes and in the present CD, I used only 10 number of samples. It is addressed here. So you have to, the way we writing, it's like art. The way we writing in the article is also art. So we can make use of the collaboration with others, like those who are in like art, like English literatures. Okay, people are graduated from the languages in English and other languages like other. Sometimes there is non-native speaker also, native speaker are there also. They're taking some different languages also, right? So you have to address with those and the different languages also. You have to approach with them and refine your statements so that you can go for like different journal like Taylor and Francis. So Taylor Francis is very powerful and they are expecting good English. Springer will not accept. Springer is not a problem. Keep in mind that Springer is not a problem. Being English is concerned, they will accept as normal English. Elsewhere have but separate protocol for English and Taylor and Francis also. They have two editorial board. The first they will send to English editorial board. They will check with only English, right? After checking with your English, then they can go for the technical. So, but Springer it's not like that. So very easy because Springer having a separate English, help assistant with them. If it is not good English, they will ask us to go for this one. But it's optional. They will not give like compulsory. It's optional only. So don't worry about that. Okay. So time frame is you would address. Don't forget about that. And this is what I said, methodologies. So methodology, how you done and what are the new techniques or hybrid methods? Are you adding both methods? Somebody did A method and somebody did B method. Now you are going to use both method A plus B and it's like ensembling method. So don't worry, there is also hybrid method. Don't worry that I am adding that paper and I am considering that on methodology A and methodology B. And I am going to add with that paper, whether it is novelty or not, novelty only. Okay, it's a novelty only. So A dash plus A. Suppose if you are making use of the A dash in particular paper, if you are putting the A dash in our paper, it's A dash only, right? But you are little bit odd A, then we are getting like A dash plus A. So contribution is there. So definitely it falls in the novel category, right? So methodology is to be novel manner. And you have to explain further about the data set also and data exploratory also. Because how you are done data cleaning method. Sometimes you are in the like data science students or data science research scholars are there maybe, and especially data cleaning is very important for management tools, right? Free requests to be done. For example, if you go for that SP analysis, SPSS data sets, if you go for other structural equation model. So in this case, we can go for different data sets and different data format. How you done, how you converted the format for this format, this method, this support software supporting this format, how you execute in different steps. So whatever you adapted in the different steps, you would address in the methodology section. But don't discuss about the result output. Don't mention our output. Don't discuss don't discuss with the implications of our result or inference or consequence obtained your results. Don't discuss it because you will not find. Normally, you start a research paper like this only. You can write introduction section methodology. After that, you cannot have any content for result discussion because initially for beginners level, you addressed everything in the methodology section only. Even I got experience like this. I did not have any content in the result section because I already addressed because I don't know what are the things to be written right in the methodology section and what are the things to be written in the result discussion. Result discussion is very important as per the LCA is concerned. Okay, they are expecting a lot of discussion, but as per the Springer is concerned, result is okay. Result is okay. No need to go for further discussions. No need to go for I can say diet discussions. No need to go for that diet discussion and elaborate discussions, not necessary in methodology section. And finally, you can go for results. And you can don't want to write in a lot of information. Only you have to highlight your major findings and overview of the results. Okay, and what are the statistical significance are obtained, whether you are obtained accepted the hypothesis or reject the null hypothesis. Okay, so I'm saying in terms of the design. So you have to address the statistical significance also, very, very important. You do even recently I had done one work in that I used that statistical contribution also, but I'm not putting those techniques in the research title. My research is actually I did like machine learning and based AI enhanced machine learning model, in which I used statistical technique also. I used some t-test ANOVA tables and how the ANOVA will be telling about the correlation of the data sets, whether it's giving same validations obtained in whatever bit. So it is going to add further advantages to enhance your result is acceptable by the reviewer. So hence, statistical significance also you must obtain. So nowadays very easy to get statistical obtain, and so many tools are there. And you can it's not, suppose your tool is not open source, you can go for Python tool. They're interpreting, and there are so many libraries there for statistical techniques, right? So statistical analysis also to be addressed in the result discussion, and this is one kind of validation. Validation means what? Statistical analysis is one kind of validation. Yes, so many people are not aware of that, how to validate our results. Then they are finding with others and they are discussing with others and how to validate my results. So for significant, for statistical significance, also one of the validation of our research. So go ahead for this. And discussion, I said earlier that you have to interpretation of result with different researcher. I said already you have to criticize your that others work about the finding academically. And you can discuss about limitation also. Limitation don't discuss in the introduction section. You got to limit your limitation to be discussed in the discussion section. And also in thesis, you have to give your limitation on the introduction section, not in literature review. You have to give your introduction section about your limitations. And future research also don't want to mention in the introduction section. You have to mention in the discussion sections. So this what understanding of the literature reviews, I said, right? You have to understand the literature basically, whether you're going for general literature review or whether you can go for systematic approach review. So that is what I'm mentioning in the slides. And I said you have to search through keywords database is there. Just now I have shown on demo with that mentally software. Since time is constant, I cannot go for further tools, but there are a lot of tools there for literature reviews. So identifying the key database, and there are search engines. So you have to search in different keywords from the database like SEIE and Scopus. Elsewhere supporting the Scopus, so you can search through Elsewhere. Science Direct, actually Science Directs, and mentally I said EndNote, and some authorized AI tools like SciSpace. So these authorized tool only can do that. Okay, and after that you can develop your key strategies like keywords and adding different columns and making critical appraisals and evaluation and selecting relevant literatures. You have to sort out which are the paper are shortlisted. That is going to relevant. They're going to replace your questions or going to match your question, right? So accordingly go to choose, right? Suppose if there are some paper is not matching, and that paper is not going to give solution, then just ignore it. That is what systematic approach literature is. Okay, and this comparing result with previous studies also very important. You have to compare your results with previous studies. All those information also to be addressed. Whatever findings, whether finding is improved or not. If not improved, just you can go for again and redo the process, replicate the process till get good accuracy. So my suggestion is that the problem is that we are not doing proper data analysis. That means we are done data collection, but we are not analyzing the data sets. That means cleaning data set is not happening properly. If data is suppose if there are some unknown data, there are some data is missing, then how you are going to replace the data set with enhanced techniques? What are the method you are going to use? Just taking simple like average of adjacent data sets and just taking mode value, minimum value, No, you should not go for that. You have to go for in scientific way of that method. There are a lot of imputing method. That is what you can call it as imputing method. So imputing method is like a data cleaning method, and you have to improve your data collection. Why? Because whatever data output you are obtained, it's depending upon the input you are used. So quality input, quality output is necessary. Basically, whatever you are giving input, same thing you are going to come out, right? So that is what I'm saying, that you have to enhance your data quality. Is input quality is very important, so that you can compare, so that you can go for comparison of the finding. Otherwise, it's not at all possible. And I got to identify similarity. I said that what's the mapping of both papers. So similarity and dissimilarity. So we can do a lot of things, right? So this is a sections. Which are sections should I start to write first? Basically, that method and materials. I follow like this only. I will not go for abstract. I will not go for introduction. I will not go for conclusion. I'll directly go for method and material. I will start. After that, I can go for result discussion, and after that, I go for conclusion and go for the introduction and abstract. I make different document like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 document. After that, I integrate all the document content, and after that, I can go for that order sequences. Sequentially added like introductions, right, first abstract, after that you can open introductions, then after that methods, then result discussion and conclusion. So you have to do these things. So please take a screenshot or note it down these points. So in this slide you can see right types of publications. Right, I said earlier already. They had books and books, software, also publication, report and paper and different for research granting. Okay, so that is also it's one of the publication, and conference proceedings. That is also one of the publication. Nowadays, justification also going on. They in most of the uh, in different university in abroad also they're accepting some repeated conferences proceeding also they're accepting. So depending upon the review structures, whether it's done in peer reviewed or not. So that is also considered in overseas in conference proceeding, but India is concerned very less. They will not accept conference proceeding paper, and there is no any weightage for conference proceeding also. Keep in mind that. So don't put your paper in conference proceeding and get published. Don't try to do that. Don't try to do that. Don't put even single contribution to the proceeding. Put your proceeding only that secondary data is there. Suppose you have done lot of work, you don't want to put that other objectives, because I have already sufficient sufficient objectives I have. This is sufficient for me to address in the thesis. Because we have done a lot of objectives. The thing is that it's not necessary to add all the objectives. Keep in mind that it is not necessary to whatever you have done in first 5 years in PhD. It's not necessary to add. Go to add only 2, 3 objectives enough. Remaining reserve for future references, fourth and fifth. Okay, so this fourth and fifth at future you can go for proceeding as well, because it's less quality. Maybe you feel that, and it's not note. It's like tight discussion, poorly write up part. For that, I'm not telling that only poor write up part will be accepted, but I'm saying that there is no rejection. Okay, rejection will be not be there. It's maybe like acceptance rate will be high. Because conferences presence concern acceptance may be like around 60%, maybe. But whereas if you go for that scientific population, it's only right, only 11%. If you go for SCA, the acceptance rate will be only 10 to 11% only. Remaining 99%, 90% will be very getting rejected. I think maybe one of them, even I am one of them only one day. Okay, but because of the lack of that guidance only, that is only the reason. Because don't worry about that. You can enhance your that finding, and you can improve yourself. We can do it. So this is what you would understanding about the impact factors and scope of the studies, scope of the journals. And I need to ask one question: what do you mean by the impact factor actually? Suppose in 2024, the particular journal is like 4. What it is specified? I repeat, in 2024, the particular publishers giving impact factor is 4 in 2024. what it refers? So you have to go through it also. Still, you have to improve about that. You have to find out that impact factors and calculations. What even is citation? So those certificates to be obtained properly, and you can go for various indexings. I said earlier that site citation indexes and science citation index expanded and emerging science source citation index and Scopus. So you can go through is this. These are the standard and in globally they're accepting. And one more is there, I think social sciences, right? Social sciences also very important citation. You can go for that also. Social science, social science citation index. Social science citation index. That means SSCI. Social science source citation index. So that is also accepted, but I can go for that this Scopus because containing like 5,000 publishers. Or is more than 20,000 titles available in the database. So this is a highly competitive, high impact journals in science and technology provides comprehensive citation site analysis. So depending upon the degree of your research done, right, you can go accordingly. I think you know actually I don't want to tell about your research work. You know, your mind knows that whatever done. Your mind knows that degree of your research done. So if degree is very less, you can go for Scopus. If degree is high, then you can go for science citation index. That's it. Don't want to get confused. Okay. Suppose no, but it's optional only SCA. What to do? My quality is work as well, but I need to publish in SCA. Then you can go for further analysis only. So you go to add up lot of analysis. Normally, you know, right? You can see in lot of Chinese papers, China, lot of analysis they have done. They used to tool separately for data analysis, and they have discussion with data analysis in tightly. That means more discussion happening on the data sets and more discussion done on methodologies. Different methodologies they are done and tight discussion on that. So that is why, you know, right, in most of the journals, okay, Chinese paper are getting accepted. The reason is that detailed study. But we are people what do is we can make one objectives and we are sending one application, and we are taking second objective and sending to second journals, and we are sending the third objectives to third journals like that. But what they are doing is they integrate all the objectives and make one paper only. That is why that they are publishing in the quality number one like Science Citation Index or Web of Sciences. So these are the classification of journals like you know, right, Q1 journals and Q2 journal and Q3 journals and Q4 journals, right? Depending upon that accepting rates, like for example, 25% of journals may be in the Q1 and 25 to 50% in like a box plot, like say box plot Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? And the majority of the 25% from the bottom level to be in Q4. And I think it's intermediate level between Q1 and Q2, like Q2 and Q3. And overseas, I think if you go for postdoctoral and further research in IIT or in, you know, in abroad, I'm also trying in that US, and they are calculating and Q1 number of Q1 journals from our publication only, Q1 and Q2. Even though, listen here, even though you have hundreds of paper, thousands of paper, and among this paper, if not having any Q1, Q2, you cannot go for that. You cannot shortlisted. It's very difficult. So it's not like, you know, right, it's not like matter of count, it's a matter of quality paper, right? So how many papers in the Q1 only the matter. Okay, so you can go through it also. You can find from the website of ACMO that journal rank AJR. You put just journal name and put AJR. It will be redirect to you the particular website home pages, and you can find the classification of the Q1, Q2, Q3, whether it's Q1 or Q2, and also it's variable. Why? Because today maybe in the Q1 and next month maybe in Q2. Because depending upon that paper accepting and depending upon the quality of the paper receiving, and depending upon the selection, right? So today maybe in the Q1, but tomorrow maybe Q2. But there are some journals continuously is coming in keyword only. Because they are accepting only quality paper, they're rejecting. So accept ratio like 5%, 2%. So that is what I'm maintaining in the Q1. So check with this also. And these are the importance of the publications. I already discussed with that. You can go for collaborations, and you can go for the funding also, because it will be justify the funding, because unless your paper is accepted, right, we cannot go for funding. Okay, funding is very, very important. They will check your publication. They believe in you. Okay, the particular person done in this work. So that person able to do this work definitely, because he had already published in the some reputed journals. So the grant maybe the particular funding may be granted. He is eligible for that. So here funding for to go for funding, right? The importance of publication is very important in particular area. So I said that analyzing the interpreting data through different techniques like statistical analysis and machine learning techniques and AI-based enhanced plot. Nowadays, you know, right? In previously they made use of that in conventional plot, but nowadays AI chart will be there. AI explaining. AI going to explain rather than the human. It will giving detailed information rather than the human being, because sometimes human being will not, you know, right? Will be giving 5% information. But machine will not do this. Whatever information extracting, it's going to address. That's it. Okay, so that AI-based explanation will be giving higher accuracy rather than the conventional method of the plots. And I keep on checking with the guidelines and submission requirements whether they given some updation about its AI tool references or citation information they given. So you have to check like this. So, and finally, you have to ensuring your research integrity. It's very important. If you want to protect your paper, you have to go in an ethical way. And whatever you are using in particular tool, you have to give references. Very important. Then only it will be like ethical way. So with this, I'm going to conclude with the presentation that I encourage you to apply the knowledge gained today of our research writings and publications efforts. It's not like, you know, just about sharing your finding. It's about your contributing to the scientific community and maximizing your impact of your work. Okay, so that the future community will take your paper as classical paper and will be getting high cited, whatever you are citing, getting a lot of citation. Okay, so they have done in 1990, 1980. They are very work and they want to, you know, right, how they done research work. They have to visit different library and they have to visit different PCs and they have to extract in manually. So nowadays we have a lot of tools are there. So we are very, very fortunate comparing to them. Okay. So with this small information, I conclude my presentation. So thanks for opportunity for that effective webinar I given to you. So thanks a lot. Over to coordinator, moderator. Madam, I completed.
Okay, sir. Participant, if you have any doubts, you can ask now.
I think they put some chart thing. Let me check it out. Yes, research Rabbit tools. Yeah, that is also good tools. We can find research gap. Could you please share the PPT? Okay, I will share the PPT. Research Rabbit tool is also good. Number of ever referred to us. Very good presentation. Thanks for that. Okay, thank you. I'm not finding any other question here. Okay, don't hesitate to ask question. You can approach with me in mail. And
Okay, sir.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
sir,
ma'am.
we
With
will
this,
send.
yes, madam. Okay, with this, because we are almost beyond the time, scheduled the time. So I think can we wind up this session?
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. I would like to thank you for making this session excellent, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And
Thanks,
thank you all the participants for spending your time patiently. Thank you
And
all.
I'm giving some give instruction about certificate also. Certificates also can give information now. E-certificates will be provided now.
Yeah, yes, sir. E-certificates will be provided within 3 days, sir.
Okay. Could you please give some simulator for network apart from NS? I'm getting actually question, but if there is any possibility, let me give. But don't expect only tool. You use your collaboration with a human being also. Don't want to go for only tool alone. You have to make collaboration with yourself. Okay, with yourself, make a tool and make a comparison with you and make a effective literatures. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Can we close?
Yeah, yes, sir. We can wind up the
Thank you.
session. Thank you all once again.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Thank you, ma'am.